Thank you so much once again. It was just a little bit of an error. So now this is Sunday, and this is a good time. I think the show has become so popular, and we thank you so much for everyday messages. We thank you so much. Welcome, be with us. We have an amazing team of guests, as we said before, and you will enjoy it. So just after 1 second of a break, join us, and we will be having our guests, and we'll kick in the show. Thank you so much. Bless you. This is DecideX once again, and this is Frank Rwaduka. And let's welcome our guests. Mzee Sam, welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes. Have a seat. And we have, this is Mzee Sam. He's been doing agriculture since, I think, you and I, most of us, were not even born yet. So, and we have Mr. Claude, the CEO of Baker Tech House. Welcome in the studio.
Thank you.
Yes, have a seat. And we have Director General, Dr. Semwaga from Minagri. We appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you so much. I think you're gonna sit next to me. Then we have a surprise for you. We have Miss Rwanda in the studio coming up for you. Meghan, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, have a seat. Trust me, we have an amazing team. Do you want to shake a hand with your friend, just your neighbor? And yes, we will share the microphone. Yes. Now let's get busy and let's start. The topic of this Sunday is an amazing topic, a topic that each and every one of us should be concerned about. And this is the future of agriculture and why Rwandan youth should be part of this sector. This is a sector where the majority of us have been thinking it's a job of taking a hoe in the morning and going to dig and coming up on the sunset, and then, you know, sometimes sleep hungry and you wait for the season, you harvest one sack from the whole hectare. The story is changed, and that's what we're going to be discussing about tonight. We have people who are in charge of every single corner of the agriculture sector, and they'll be sharing their plans, their strategies to change the narrative and to change the perception that we have as young people, but also we have as a whole community. Now, Doctor, we have this amazing topic. It is the future of agriculture and why the Rwandan youth should be at the center of this sector. As you just introduced yourself, we'll be going deeper into the topic later.
Okay, thank you very much. I am Dr. Semwaga. I am Director General of Planning, Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources. I'm exactly interested to discuss this very important topic.
Yes.
Indeed, there is no way that agriculture could be developed the way we have planned before and the way we are thinking of without youth.
That's true.
I think I can.
That's true.
To elaborate,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We have my friend here. Just introduce yourself.
My name is Claude Nyangao. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of BK Tech House. BK Tech House is falling under BK as a group. Under BK as a group, there are 4 companies. So BK Bank, as you know, BK Insurance.
Yes. Can you use the microphone?
And you have.
Is it on? Yes, you can go ahead.
And you have a BK Tech House as a technology company.
Yes, and we have, you can share your, is it working? Yes, you can just go ahead, it will work.
Sam Bagumia, farmer.
Yes, farmer. Yes, Miss has the microphone. You have it, you can use
sure,
yours.
I'm Meghan Nimwiza, Miss Rwanda 2019, and my project is about youth involvement in agriculture.
Thank you so much. Let's have a break and then come with a fire into the show. Thank you so much. All right, welcome back. This is DecideX and this is Frank. We have an amazing team here. Let's now jump into the show, at the heart of the show, and discuss and break down some points and some issues. And you see what kind of hope can we give to the youth that this sector has a space for them. And it's not just holding a hoe. It's a digital job. You can enjoy it. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. You don't have to wake up in the morning and go to dig. Now, Doctor,
Yes.
tell us, agriculture has been a little bit, controversial, mostly to young people. When one talks about agriculture or farming, in the minds of young people, they think of someone far down in the village, living in the shack, and who wakes up every morning so early, and who is not even part of the civilization. And this farmer, in their minds, is so far away, detached from the technology, and they think they bear, dress well, and this is the whole perception that young people have. Now, what are the strategies that Minagri and Lab you are taking up to ensure that this paradigm shift happens at the center of this generation, for the millennials to be part of the agriculture, the agripreneurship, and all that?
So thank you very much. First of all, let me again support you why you have organized this.
Yes.
This show is very critical to talk of agriculture.
Yes.
Because in our country, agriculture represents almost a third of the GDP.
Really?
It's very important for the economy, and it employs around 4 million people.
Yes. 4 million people.
4 million people. It creates almost a third, also almost a half of the export earnings we get in this country. It's very important that we talk of agriculture for the side of economy, social, and also the political side, because we have many people who are inside.
Yes.
Then this agriculture, the way youth they perceive it, indeed, it is not like they perceive it like a job or an activity which is not relevant. It's about what we call the labor productivity.
Yes.
It means with the strategies that we have in the Ministry of Agriculture is exactly to increase the labor productivity and also to change the way the agriculture is perceived.
Yes.
Currently, we talk of agri-food system. Meaning, to be in agriculture, it is not only to be taking home in the morning, to go to dig, but also you can have other activities related to agriculture when we are talking about agri-food system, so that you are contributing to exactly the agricultural productivity.
Yes.
So that's part of the way the agricultural sector and the agricultural activities are perceived. Youth are exactly finding it very important, and then they are coming in.
But you believe that quite a little bit back in the time, the perception has been so much poor?
Yes, it has been like taking, there was a time even when we were talking about agriculture, the people, whoever was there without any job, he was saying, I'm a farmer.
I'm a farmer.
Which is not really correct.
So if someone is to jump into the agriculture sector as an agripreneur, taking up some agripreneurship, pursuits, can you elaborate like 4 possible ways of being a farmer without holding a home?
Exactly. So the part number 1, when we are talking of agri-food system, exactly there's that part which is important for production. So production.
That means you're into production, manufacturing.
Yes. Once you want you can even go into production, but not in a traditional way. When you go into production to increase the wealth, to make sure that exactly there you can have decent earnings. That is now part 1. It means there that you are there, you need to use technology, you need to go for tractors, you need to use improved seeds, you need to everything so that you can increase the production.
Yes.
Then the number 2 is then when you go for value addition, the processing part. You can go then agriculture, develop agriculture, be exactly in part of agro-processing. You process, you add value, produce cheese, you produce flour, you do what, and then you can sell. The other part is exactly the part related to, for example, the distribution part.
Wow.
Where you can go for distribution, you can choose, for example, having cold chain trucks. That's exactly you want.
That's also part of
agriculture. Then you can then come to facilitate. To facilitate, for example, the IT part. IT part where you can create the platforms so that people they can sell at the cheapest cost.
All right, we'll go back to you. Now let's go to Baker Tech House. Mr. Claude, we know Bank of Kigali as a commercial bank, financially transforming lives. You pay the advert, and then now here recently you came up with a subsidiary part of the company, and it started doing different from what the Baker Group is doing, which is technology part of the business. Why did you dive into agriculture, and why did you come up with Smart Mungan product to help the farmers? What was the problem on the ground? What solutions have we brought on the ground, and what other solutions do you plan to bring on the ground?
Good.
Thank you so much.
When Dr. Octave was talking about some of the macro index of the agriculture,
yes,
he mentioned something that is very important. So as of today, agriculture is contributing 30% to the GDP. And when you look at the population being involved in the agriculture, 70% of the population is involved in the agriculture activity. But surprisingly, only 30% of this population is banked, meaning that the financial sector does not know much of the farmers, yet the farmers contribute massively to the GDP. So actually, that has been one of the drivers, one of the reasons BK said, how can we approach this unbanked category of population, bringing in kind of the aspect of the financial inclusion. So as you know, if you look at the agriculture today, most of the process is paper-based.
That's true.
And when you look at the data, you cannot find the real data coming from the agriculture, just to inform the financial sector. You know that the banks deals with the people that they know.
You don't know how many farmers.
When you don't know the farmers, when you don't know the produce, how can you inject?
So you mean before your solution comes in, institutions had no clue of how many farmers we have in the country?
Exactly.
They had no clue of how much seeds we have to give to the farmers.
So the informally, yes, but there was no this kind of real-time information flowing from the digital database going to the banks. So what we did to start with, we have a partnership with the Rwanda Agriculture Board just to start digitizing the entire value chain of the inputs.
So now, what's the job done now?
So the job done from the concept perspective, this digital platform is supposed to have 3 phases. One of the phases, exactly as you mentioned, is to identify who are the farmers being involved in the supply chain.
Wow.
So we did a digital database of all the key stakeholders being involved in this supply chain. So from the last season, we managed to register around 1.3 farmers.
Wow.
And actually this includes as well what we call the agro dealers. Those are the dealers in terms of the inputs. And we managed to include as well the local governments. Those are the sector agronomists, the district agronomists, and you managed to include as well the importers of the inputs. So it's really a huge platform. So, and as a second phase, the second phase was kind of digitizing even the stock management of the inputs. By input I mean fertilizers and the seeds.
Yes.
And make all the other processing fully digital.
Really?
Fully digital. So this is the phase where we are, but the first phase has been really successful. So this is the second.
And what's the feedback from the local farmers?
So the feedback from the local farmers.
Are they getting, are they understanding the whole digital movement coming up?
So of course, when you are talking about the digital, it comes with some challenges, especially from the user perspective. So when you look at the farmers, they don't have the digital gadgets.
They don't have smartphones.
They don't have the smartphone.
Yes.
But very, very good enough. Through our technology, we tried to come up with some technology which are really friendly to the farmers.
Yes.
So thereby we introduce what we call the USSD, so that they don't really have to have the Android phones to get registered to our platform. So they can even use the.
So what's your target number by maybe the end of this?
So the target number probably we're not coming from the agriculture, but in agriculture we have 2 seasons. We have season A and you have season B. Now we are in season B. So those farmers are registering for season B. Season B is a low season, but in high season, as from last season, we managed to register 1.3. So we believe that the more the people are getting familiar with the technology, the bigger will be the number.
All right, we'll get back to you. Let's go to Sam, and you are kind of man who has been into this sector for over the last 30 years, I think, plus.
Yes.
And where I'm wrong, correct me. You started this business of agriculture back in, I think, early 80s in Uganda, and you are doing well. I read some of your articles back in Uganda. President awarded you and all that, and you were really successful back in the time. So, and you came in Rwanda, and then you started the same thing, and you've been really successful on the ground. Everyone who knows you knows that you're a farmer. And the whole point I like most is that you didn't jump into agriculture back in the time because maybe you were a refugee, you were desperate. You were a civil engineering graduate from a good university, and you would have maybe jumped into politics, jumped into other businesses, or did the civil engineering job as a way of shifting the mindset of the current youth, the millennials. Tell us, what was your motive back in the time, even when there was no TVs like this that are, emphasizing, on agriculture as a young man, and you were still young? What was the whole motive, and what has kept you in the game for all this time?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon once again.
Yeah, I've been a farmer for the last 32 years. And I'm happy to be a farmer, more so in my own country.
That's true.
Now, I started back in '87 farming. That was in Uganda as a refugee. And the reality is, when I tell people I was looking for settlement, because, you know, as a refugee, you lived in a settlement camp, you studied coming back to the settlement camp, you didn't have a farm, you didn't have a land, you were living in a settlement camp.
That's true.
And it's a long story. By the time I was in Uganda, the friends I was working with, staying with, every weekend, every Christmas, they would take me to their homes, have Christmas together. Then one time in '87, that's why I said I should have my own home.
Yes.
And that's why I call it settlement. So I was leaving, I wanted to have my own home, my own land, where I can cultivate. But not going into cultivation, but my home.
That's true.
Now you understand, wanting to, my parents were in the refugee, in the settlement, the refugee settlement camp, and they had to buy land almost a bit distant from there.
Yes.
And that's how I started farming. I was lucky that in our area, there was high production of maize, and that's how I jumped in. It will be a long story, I can't finish. I started with 3 hectares, and back to 5 hectares.
Because the reason why I want you to tell a story is you are a university graduate, you are into civil engineering, you were perfect back in the time in your career, and then you shifted from a career where you have a degree to a career where you have not even a single certificate,
Sure.
and you've made it to the top of the world. And so I want you to tell your steps so that someone who is graduating this time in Rwanda will say, oh God, if this Mzee had no political will back in the time, had no infrastructure, had no systems, had no TVs to emphasize on this, what if something like that happened to his life and he's successful? Why not I taking this initiative?
Yeah, my taking that initiative was, as I told you, I was looking for land. And I had the desire to go into agriculture. Although you are saying, I would see people farming.
Yes.
The good thing in our area where it was more mechanized. So I had to start with that 3 hectares of land.
You started with 3
hectares of land.
Wow.
That's what I could afford at that time to buy. But over time, I shifted. When I started, I was doing it both. I was farming at the same time working.
Oh, you had a job and also doing
Yes,
farming.
yes. But over time, I realized I should go more deep into agriculture.
That was after how many years?
That is about
shifted fully.
2 years. 2 years. I shifted completely to agriculture. I had a friend of mine who was a banker. Then he introduced me to, there was a project to grow cotton.
Yes.
And he told me, look, we have in the cooperatives, we want to produce, to plow for farmers to plant cotton. Why don't you come in?
Wow.
I said, how do I come in? He said, get a tractor, start plowing for them. I said, where do I get money for the tractor? I was asking so many questions because I didn't have the collateral, I didn't have the money. But it was a bit smart. They told me, look, we are going to give you the tractor on hire purchase. And you will be paying as you work. We went, signed the contract. The tractor was in the names of the bank, and they owned the tractor. So the first time I would give it to the driver to drive it, moving around. But over time, that's when I decided now to leave working and go into deep into farming.
What was the whole project budget of the cotton business by that time?
It was big because that time they were opening up 500 hectares of land.
Wow.
It wasn't only my own tractor, there were others, but I joined in.
How old were you then?
30,
Early 30.
around 30.
Wow.
So I was a young man, aggressive, hardworking. So I started farming, I started growing. I would be proud for the farmers, but at the end I also proud my own land.
Wow.
Now, as I told you, the desire to do the farming, to have my own home, I had to build a small house into that 3 hectare of land. Started so that every weekend I would also be going to my own home,
That's
to
true.
my own farm.
And you are still single, right?
Yeah, that time I was single.
Oh.
No. I married in 85.
That means you built a house before marriage.
No. After marriage.
Okay.
After
That would
marriage.
be so much
It
greater.
was a small house. When I tell you the type of the house, it was a prefabricated house.
Okay.
I started with prefabricated
All right.
house.
Can you tell me like 3 amazing moments you've had as a farmer? You were like, wow, thank God I chose this career.
There are many. I may only mention few.
Yeah, few.
One, when we were in Uganda, after going into the farming, we used to have agriculture competition,
Mhm.
and I competed in the Western region. At my level, I became the first in Uganda.
Wow. A refugee. Becoming number one.
Yes, and that time they organized it was annually, and I was given, very lucky, I was given a tractor
Wow.
that I had to own too.
That was how much in value?
Well, I don't know that time, but it would be around, call it 5 million. That time, Uganda shillings, 5 million. And the other moment, the second competition, I was first in medium scale. The first I was in small scale, second I was in medium scale. Now this time, through USA, they were given a trip where 6 farmers to go to US. So we visited different states in the US. We stayed with the farmers,
Wow.
and that's where I got the passion of farming, because you would stay with the farmer for 1 week, move to another state for 1.5 months.
Wow.
So that is another moment. The third moment, there are many, is when I returned to Rwanda and started farming.
I like that. Tell us the story.
Yeah. That's the moment, of course, like any other returnee.
By the way, as you proceed with that story, the third story, Rwandan story, it's also a crazy story. That's why I cherish you. Because you came in, you were very successful in the country, back in Uganda.
Yes.
So after liberating the country, I think you were among the top minds, brains. You would have maybe got interest in assuming a certain political position. I guess you could be given Minister of Agriculture. So yeah, because I remember human resources were not really there. So many brains were killed in the tragedy. So what had that convinced you to still get, the agriculture as your main career? So you have that as you tell the whole story.
Yes, it was interesting during the war. Of course, we are all told Rwanda is small.
Yes.
And nobody will own more than 1 hectare, 2 hectares. Now, back in Uganda, I had 120 hectares.
Wow.
So I was wondering how I'm going to shift from 120 hectares, and I do the farming on 3 hectares. Now, that didn't hinder me from starting. As I arrived, I looked for the land. And in Nyagatare, there was a big size of land. I got land near the river, started farming in 1994. In 1995, that time, because there was more mechanization,
Oh wow.
so I had to get a tractor back on my own farm, the former farm. I brought it, started the plowing. And I realized that I should continue with what I was doing. I realized that I had a successful journey in
Yes.
farming, in agriculture. And wherever I would be, I would introduce myself as a farmer. So it was a successful story. Now,
So what 2 moments
Yeah.
you've enjoyed in Rwanda? You feel like, wow, I thank God I didn't become a capitalist and remain in Uganda where things were smooth. I thank God I really shifted from Uganda to Rwanda. 2 moments you feel like, wow, this Rwanda has not disappointed my career.
there are the two moments I would have mentioned many, but the two, one is in Rwanda. I would be called Wagumya Sam, a farmer.
Yes.
But in Uganda, I was called Sam, a refugee.
Let's
So
talk
those
about
are the two. Now, this time I had the confidence
That's
of
interesting.
what
So the
I
identity
am,
thing.
of what I am as a citizen of Rwanda, and I farm in my own country.
I love it.
So, and that encouraged me. You know, in '95 there was no much, more program about agriculture, but I started immediately because I was doing what I was doing formerly,
All right.
growing maize,
All right.
introducing maize.
Let's shift to, interesting. So I love that story that what made your heart dance most is that the change of the name
Change of the name from refugee,
From
some
refugee to-
refugee,
to some
some farmer
Rwanda.
in
In
Rwanda.
Rwanda. Well, Miss, thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for having me.
We've been following your sharings on so many social medias, and from there on, I love the way you were into this agriculture business, and you really talk about it as if you've been farming as well. Maybe we can call you Meghan Farmer. So now, tell me, you are young and you're just done with high school and you are carrying on this crown, and it's crazy that with your beauty, agriculture is coming in your mind. Tell us, how did it convince you? How did you come down to agriculture?
Agriculture is beautiful. It is beautiful. Agriculture came into my mind recently. I'm not going to say it's something I really thought of my whole life. No. But I have parents who love agriculture, who have been doing agriculture, not as their full-time job. Not as some, of course, but they have been enjoying agriculture. And so they used to take us to their farms. Wow. to see the farming and to know what is going on. And as I grew, I love to tell this story. I wanted to be a doctor, a dentist, or something. I wanted to be a doctor. But after I graduated O-level, I was like, this might be a bit childish because I don't do biology too well, I don't do chemistry too well, so I might consider doing something else. At that time, agriculture didn't even show up in my mind, so I did IT because I loved technology, I loved everything about IT, so I did IT in my...
and I thank God you did IT because that's when you're going to do the real agriculture.
Exactly. So recently when I was running for Miss Rwanda, when I was actually considering to run for Miss Rwanda, I thought of a project I could bring forward. So I sat and thought of something that I've been thinking about, something that would benefit people, something that I'd know how to really put down and explain very well, and something I know would be, I'd be able to do. And agriculture came to my mind. So, yeah, I presented agriculture as a project. I'm actually thinking of going to that institute, RICA, the Agriculture Institute that is being built in Gashora. Yes. So agriculture has literally become a passion. Wow. And
you love it?
I love it.
Say I love agriculture.
I love agriculture.
All right, so tell me now, you want to dive into this business of agriculture. And what is your strategic plan of introducing the same perception, the same mindset you have, the same paradigm shift you have to the rest of the youth?
Thank you. I am actually thinking of using the other youth that has already realized the beauty in agriculture in order to sensitize the other youth. During my year of rain, a year is not a big time. It's very small, but a year also is something that you can use to, especially with a big platform, you can use to reach to the other youth out there. There are people, especially the youth, who still perceive agriculture as something that is done by second-class citizens, by people who have nothing to do, by people who, they don't see agriculture as the backbone of our economy. It is usually said to be the backbone of our economy, which is true. Which is true. So during my year, I will try to orient the youth into this bigger sector of agriculture, where, and I believe if we as the youth get more involved in this agriculture sector, we tend to think that we have that the land is too small, that we don't have enough natural resources, we don't have enough, we give all the kind of reasons, but I would love to emphasize that there is no land that is so small. Any kind of land, the productivity there, it is either small or big. The land is not small, but the productivity.
So I love the fact that you are not going to be done with agriculture when your mandate is done. So you have a plan to continue.
True.
And I think you're going to find a way you can get in touch with Baker Takehouse and agree.
Yeah.
And now look, something else I have to pose here is, what do you think you got inspired into agriculture last a couple of months back? How did you get into this? Was it a political campaign going on that drove you to the spirit of this? Is it your parent who told you, hey, miss, go into this sector of agriculture? Is it because other sectors failed you?
No.
Tell me, what's your whole motive behind, going for agriculture for the rest of your, career life? Because I want your reason to inspire some of the guys watching this who are still young and all that.
Yeah, thank you. Agriculture is mainly done by elderly people. Elderly people who, I will say, who are not more introduced to technology. The youth is more introduced to technology. The youth is more creative, we're more innovative. We have, sharper minds than these elderly people who are still practicing agriculture. But we are still the people who don't think agriculture is for us. We don't want to do agriculture. We still think agriculture is a hands-on job.
That's true.
But why don't we introduce this technology we've acquired from schools and everywhere?
From YouTube, from Google.
Yes, exactly. Into this agriculture. So I was inspired to do agriculture a few months back because I will also like to acknowledge the strength of the government into this. They have been doing so much to involve the youth in agriculture. There are competitions that the government has been, putting on to emphasize more of the youth in agriculture, to strengthen more the people the youth who have already been involved in agriculture and agribusiness, let's say. They might not be involved in agriculture straight, but in a way or another they're involved in agribusiness.
Well, I love the motive. It's funny that before, behind the curtains, behind the camera, they were saying, they were telling you, Miss, you have to join us and we campaign for this. So, and then, and I guess also on your side, you have a need for support, a need for partnership.
Of course.
As you're moving on, all the way, and you're thinking maybe I need this person to help me, I need this office to help me. What type of support do you need all around, so that will really back you up, and then you hit this target of yours even before the rain gets over?
The first support I need is from the youth themselves.
Okay.
The youth. The youth.
Them.
I invite.
Beg them.
I invite the youth to be more involved in agriculture. I invite the youth to see the beauty in agriculture. The second support I'd need is from different stakeholders, of course, and I am very privileged to be sitting with
The CEO.
To be sitting with most of them. Of course, we need NAEB, we need RAB, we need Minagri, we need RIAF, and there are other cooperatives of youth who are already involved in agriculture, like Holland Green Tech.
Yes.
those are people, those are stakeholders who we need to.
Have you got some of them?
Yeah, sure. I've contacted some of them.
And you think partnership is going to be possible?
What
two things, as I'm done with you, what two things that when you at the end of the year, you will say, if these two things are done, wow, this was my burning dream?
Thank you. First of all, my mission, the mission and the vision of this project is to orient the youth into this sector. If next year I sit and see maybe something like 50 people or 100 people I've oriented into this sector, I'll be like, this is great. Secondly, if I see more technology being involved in this agriculture sector,
yes.
If I see the youth that I've involved, them involving the technology in this agriculture sector, I'll be very pleased.
Your heart will be, wow.
Yes.
But do you plan to do agripreneurship, like having a business into this as well? Like running your own company, your own business into agriculture as well?
That's something I'd love to think about.
All right, cool. Yeah. Thank you. Here we have a general question. Let's have a break of just 2 seconds, and then we'll discuss on this next question, which is really very controversial. Thank you so much. A break of just a few seconds, and then we'll be back. Thank you. Welcome back in the DecideX. I think the team has been amazing for you in the first session. And here we're coming for the second session of the show. The show is becoming hot with a topic which is hot. And please, I again urge you to be part of this movement of agripreneurship, a digital agriculture. Whether you're young or old, this is really a good space for you. So now here comes another very challenging thing to discuss about. Now, here's the thing. It says, in the primary and secondary school, cultivation of food in the school's garden has been used as a punishment for every offense committed at school by the children, which has made many young people hate agriculture. For failing to get an exam pass mark, many have been given this as a punishment, and parents have been calling their children, hey, you're starting to misbehave this way academically, you end up failing to become a doctor, become an accountant, become a lawyer, become a politician. No one will give you his office job. You're going to end up miserable into agriculture. So agriculture has been like a dustbin for the children, for the students who have not been doing well. Now, what is your message as someone who cherishes agriculture as your job, cherishes agriculture as a subsidiary commitment you're making as a bank, as someone, agriculture has been a millionaire, a successful person, a happy farmer. As someone, despite the beauty pageant you're holding, you are really proudly saying, I am in love with agriculture. What is the message you're giving to those two people? The schools that give digging in the gardens as a punishment, the parents who tell their children that, hey, if you bring this report, I'm not sure you're going to be a doctor you've been dreaming to be. You're going to end up miserable into agriculture. What's your message? Let's begin with Miss.
Thank you. I think what we should all be doing, schools, parents, is to strive to create an enabling environment for these young people. If we tell a young child that, you know what, if you don't do this, you'll end up going to the farm, this kid will end up having a mindset that farming is a punishment, farming is a curse, farming is something that is not for them.
Yes.
So I believe what we should be doing as people, as teachers, as parents, it is to create an enabling environment for these children, for young children. Instead of telling them you'll end up being a farmer, tell them, why don't you be a good farmer? Why don't you be a farmer that will, increase the food security in our country? Why don't you be the farmer that will decrease the exports the imports, and then increase the exports? Give them that strength.
Were you ever given a hoe back in the school? Maybe you did a mistake, and then you were given a hoe or a punishment to go and dig.
I don't think I've been given.
But you saw some.
Yeah, I've actually witnessed parents telling their children, you know what, you'll end up going to a farm. Like, going to a farm is a punishment. No,
I think Sam hearing that, his heart, I think he's not really happy for such a statement.
I don't think so.
So now, let's come back to Mr. Sam. So what's your message on regarding that?
My message is
Oh, you can have the microphone there.
I would encourage the young men and women to go into farming. And I'm happy to see Meghan thinking about farming, about agriculture, about taking the same message to the fellow youth. Make sure they are from here to another point. She mentioned one important point. When you look back in time, through somebody else, you just go look at the farm, look at his garden, you admire it, and then you do it. But this time, as she mentioned, there's the high tech, there's the technology right in front. So here you have to use that technology that is right there. And we have a good environment in our country. Left, right, I think now we are no longer talking about the school garden, we are talking Akarimaki Jikoni.
That's true.
So if this child starts from home looking at the Akarimaki Jikoni, then going to the school, he meets the school garden. And the school garden, I think the teachers should tell the student that it's not a punishment,
Yes.
but they are training him what he will meet in the future. And so doing, by so doing, there is a lot of demonstration. Because when I call back during my time and today, it's the terrain is virgin.
So your argument is that a student going to the school garden and dig shouldn't be a punishment, should be extracurricular activity.
It's giving him, it's an eye-opener.
That's true.
Because I think we emphasize agriculture is the backbone of this country. And without farming, you know why I think what was the biggest problem was even people who are in business, after getting some money, would say he's going to bury a hoe. How do you bury a hoe when you are still eating? So I think those
so when they could get money, they would say, I'm going to bury a hoe.
So that was, and I think that word is no longer there. Because they would see many examples. We have many farmers in this country who are doing very, very, very well. We have demonstration areas. We have the technology. So I think these children will not be like, they will realize that there is opportunity in the farming in general.
Well, time is bad.
So agriculture is in a fully digitization journey. When you look at the way the science are being taught in the secondary schools and in the primary schools, there's a new concept that is coming up, the STEAM. So from the digital perspective, STEAM is part of the AI, what we call the AI,
Artificial
intelligence. So through BK Tech House, I remember last year, it was last year, we introduced the robotics camp.
Wow.
Whereby students from the secondary schools have been able to handle the precision agriculture with the digitization. So if everything goes well, we want to make this concept and extend it even to the primary school, to change the mindset and trying to show the people that the STEAM is really, it's an easy thing and can be introduced in different economic sector, starting with the agri-tech and the agriculture.
Are you working on some AI projects in agriculture sector?
So far not yet, but we have the concept of IoT, agriculture-based Internet of Things, to be introduced very shortly in agriculture.
Interesting.
And AI is part of the IoT.
So what's your message to the schools? I know you're working with the schools. Actually, you're a good partner.
Yes.
To talk on this.
Yes.
You know, in the schools, people, when a student shouts in a class, patron or disciplinary comes in and say, "Oh, you're shouting, get out and then go to the store." They give you a hole, go and dig. You will not come back in a class until you really feel the mistake you've done.
Yes.
So what's your message on that? Should we make agriculture still a punishment in the formal schools, or we should make agriculture and digging in the gardens an extracurricular activity, just like bet in the weekends?
So agriculture should be a kind of extra curricular, and the management of the schools should show that agriculture is plenty of the opportunities in terms of digital opportunities, and they should try to incentivize the children, the students, to embrace agriculture instead of making them see agriculture as a punishment.
All right, so because you could be sitting in a class and see a group of like 10 guys with holes on their shoulders. So these guys have done a mistake. So you can imagine. So now let's come back to the Director General. I think you will conclude for us this panel, and you also talk on the same topic and something else you think is very relevant in the next 3 minutes or 4.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. Your question indeed contains two questions. The first one is to look at what can be done at the parent side.
Yes.
So that the parents can see agriculture as an opportunity for their kids. So agriculture is an opportunity, only it has to be done well. So in the strategic plan for agricultural transformation, we do have a program, for example, of linking young people with farmers, successful farmers like Sam.
Yes.
So that once he visits or she visits some farm, he sees or she sees exactly it's an opportunity. It is not really a second class job as what Miss was saying. The other part that we do have is exactly a set of instruments like helping them in getting collateral, matching grants, linking them with farm, with the banks, so that they can have exactly the required resources to invest in agriculture. The second part is that side of now the mindset of at the school level.
Yes.
I think that has changed because last time I was visiting schools in Nyamagabe with the permanent secretary of Mineduc, and we found exactly the schools now they have what they call school gardens.
Wow.
What is promoted is what we call 4 H's, because you have the right, you have the head, use it, you have and you love agriculture using your heart, and then you have the strength, so make sure that you use your hands, and then all of that you do it in a healthy way. So where they produce organic products, they see how exactly the crops they grow, and they love, and also they have in their curricula also they have a topic on that. So then I think at the school level things have changed, and then we still also work with the Ministry of Education to make sure that exactly the move continues. In the strategic plan of agricultural transformation, which was approved by the cabinet on 11th July 2018, it emphasizes on exactly the school gardening programs. So a school gardening program has a high emphasis in the strategy, and then we'll be continuing to make sure that exactly agriculture becomes a business, and as I said, in an agri-food system. So for a message for the young people,
Yes.
and also Ms. talked about that, we do have support, and exactly we do have also young people who have been involved in agriculture. Only understand at the government level, the way to bring young people into the sector starts exactly by the way we design our programs in education. So we have universities, we have secondary schools, we have technical schools related to agriculture.
Yes.
And we have many graduates every year. And then also we give also opportunity to graduate people to go and to fine-tune their knowledge in Israel.
Yes.
Some was talking, he got opportunity to go to ES. Also, we support as government. We have many people. Currently, we have more than 700 who have been in Israel.
Wow.
To see exactly farming is a business, and farming can create wealth.
Wow. And farming is fun.
And farming is fun also. It is not like where you have to go and suffer and like what Claude was talking about. So it's important that they learn, the young people who have not joined, because we have helped youth people to create what they call RYAF, Rwanda Youth and Agribusiness, and they have currently more than 5,000 people.
Yes.
And then we have...
winding up.
Yes, we have helped them to have a cooperative which is called Horeko. Horeko
Yes.
is promoting the production of this. So it's important that we are together. We have some instruments related to financing and also to help them to...
All right.
So thank you very much.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show, and we promise you to come again on the same topic. We'll discuss on this. So let's now go with hashtags. We're done. Only 1 minute to go. So hashtag, we just mentioned a certain statement around agriculture. You can maybe say agriculture is fun, farming is fun. Think of that. Just a hashtag. So if a hashtag, just say the and then we're done. Yes?
Agriculture is life.
Agriculture is life. Wow, amazing. Your hashtag.
Agriculture is digital.
Agriculture is digital. Amazing.
My farm, my family, my face.
I love that. Give him a microphone. Interesting slogan.
Agriculture, my farm, my family, my face.
I love that.
And that's the power.
Technology?
In line with agriculture.
Technology in line with agriculture. You want mine? Farming is fun. It is fun. Farming is fun. We are done. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure hosting you. And yeah. Thank you. I like the slogan. Thank you, Miss. Thank you so much.
intambara iri hagati